You always want to keep adding cold water, dash of cold water, dash of cold water. That's the less tedious way of doing it. Some people will, like I said, take the beans out and then soak them in cold water for 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and then repeat the process. Everybody has their own way, and they'll swear by it. So here we are. We're boiling, we're frothy, and we're turning this off. And another thing, I like lima beans better than navy because the skins are easier to remove. I mean, there's many reasons why I like lima. I've always liked the flavor better. Put that back in there. Cold water. So we're heating this back up. I'm checking out the scum. So here we have some scum forming. It's not much, but see, this is scum, bitter taste. A lot of people make the mistake of not keeping them covered and not keeping an eye on them. I want to get them to boil first, but I'm not going to keep it on high the entire time because that's another way that you get scorched beans, and you've wasted 8 hours of soaking and a cupful of two of good zucchini beans. Here's a little confession. When I first made koshiyaan, I was in a rush. I had to make koshiyaan. I hadn't soaked the beans. I hadn't done anything. So I used canned beans, and it wasn't good. Never use cans. I've been there. I've done that. Please don't do it. It doesn't taste good. But I did it, and it worked. I mean, if you're really curious and you're kind of feeling lazy, go ahead and do that. But it's going to take you just as long in the long run as to making it and pounding it as if you use fresh. Just use fresh. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to taste better. It's not going to have that nasty canned salty taste. Boiling, just turn it down to medium. Keep coming back, like I said, every 10 minutes or every 7 minutes, and skimming the scum. And the same with the lima beans. So like I said, the lima beans are going to take 45 minutes to an hour, depending on your variety and your quality and how fresh they are. As the same with the zucchini beans, take an hour to 2 hours. So our syrup is boiling, and that's good. It's nice and translucent. And so we're going to wait for everything to go back to boiling, then we're going to set it on medium, coming back every now and then to skim the scum off to make sure we get rid of that bitter flavor. And when we get down to that point, we're going to show you how to make the chunky subus or subushi on, and then the smooth with the white, which would be shiro koshiyaan. We're back after 10 minutes, and we're checking on, making sure that it's covered, and we're on skim patrol. And I think the lima beans are done. And a good way to test that is to take one out and mash it. And it mashes fairly easily. We don't want to, this is about done. This consistency is done. And dump these in a colander. Now that they're all flipped, I'm going to take this big sieve and put a few in there, like that. These have cooled enough for me to touch them. They're not all the way cool, but I'm impatient. Some people will peel the lima beans before they boil them, and some people will just mash them in there. I'm just going to mash these through the sieve. So first off, I'm going to start getting them into a mushy paste. And this is for making koshiyaan, which is that fine paste. And you're going to have a hard, once you get it into that a mass first, like so. And once you've done that, it's going to be difficult to get it through the sieve without some water. So turn that onto like a slow drip. Working it through
meats out. Bean meats are good. That's what we're going to be using. And we want to leave the skins behind, which are tough and unpalatable, and we can't use them for a recipe. See how that's starting to go through there? Turn down the water a little. And don't worry that you're getting a lot of water, whoops, in there, or that you're a little messy. That's why we have aprons. It's going to be okay, because after we're done getting this out there, we're going to put it, that's where the muslin comes in, we're going to strain it through the muslin. Yeah, see, these are all skin. All skin. I'm going to put this like this. I'm going to take my washed, pre-washed, unbleached muslin and put it in the sieve like so. I'm going to put it in here because I might have to strain it a few times. What I want to do is get rid of as much of that water that I can. So, you have this, you can do a little bit at a time, a lot at a time, and you want to get rid of the water like that. And I'm going to put my on in there, and then I'm going to repeat the steps. I have the bowl underneath there just in case something slips, it doesn't go down the drain, all that work, all down the drain. Yikes. It's kind of almost a Zen-like process, Japanese cooking, because it's repetitious and you have to kind of live in the moment. You can't just walk away and just hope everything will be okay like a bowl of soup. You have to watch it and be aware of it. So for me, Japanese cooking helps me live in the moment, especially making wagashi. So let's see what we have here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. All that nama on. Isn't that beautiful, folks? That's just beautiful. And this is really silky. This is a beautiful texture. It reminds me a lot of marzipan, and that's really not a far-off analogy. Marzipan, you can, mold all sorts of beautiful fruits and figurines with it. And when you mix this koshien with something called gyuri, it's which is kind of like a mochi-based dough, and you mix it with there, it turns basically into bean marzipan. It's got that similar silky texture.